Good morning, everybody. This is Zachman, Zach, founder of BeMen, coming to you live, Facebook Live, from our new studio in Lone Tree, Colorado. And you might notice a little bit something different about me. No, I did not get in a fight with my lawnmower or the electric hedge trimmers, did I? No, the man to my right and a few others came out. We were supporting St. Baldrick's Foundation, the second largest funder of children's cancer research behind the federal government. They surround their events around St. Patty's Day, and out of solidarity, right, you can shave your head. So yeah, I thought I'd go a little bit down to the nubs. But we're not here to talk about that. Today we're here to talk about mental toughness. And sitting to my right is one of my favorite guys in the whole wide world. Now, we haven't known each other long. It's been about 18 months now, but he's become my brother from another mother. So Sheldon Bain is with us, one of our advisory council members, and we're going to get right down to it. Right, Sheldon?
We are, Zach. So thanks for having me on. Good morning, everybody. We're happy you're all here to join us today for this very important talk.
Absolutely. So my first question, Sheldon, so just if you don't mind, tell the guys why are you a part of BeMen?
So, I was thinking about that on the way over here, and I think that you can kind of look anywhere in our culture right now, and there's going to be plenty of places that will tell you who you can't be and how you can't think and how you're not supposed to act and what you can't say, but there's very little places that will show you how to reappropriate that to the right things to do and to say and how to be. So in a culture that's really dead set on telling men that we can no longer have that identity, they're not very willing to help us rebuild one back up. And I think that BeMen is certainly one of those places, one of those few places that men can come to, and we will help encourage and build and sharpen and hone your identity so that you can go out into the world more confident in who you are.
Man, I love that. We've actually had some pushback. We've had some people out in the marketplace say, oh, well, you can't call yourself BeMen because there's that old cliche of be a man, toughen up, stoicism. But you know what? That is exactly what we're all about. That's what Sheldon's talking about. We're prepared to shift the paradigm that we've gotten lazy about, that men are not positive, amazing creatures on this planet. So we're going to talk today about mental toughness. So Sheldon, for you, what does that even mean? What is mental toughness to you?
Yeah. So when I hear the phrase mental toughness, I think of the word grit.
Nice.
And
I
grit
like that one.
for me is somebody's ability to persevere through adversity or failure or any sort of negative challenge that comes along in life and not allow that situation to dictate their character or their actions or their emotions. And just being able to sort of push through that in a way that doesn't change who you are as a person fundamentally.
That's a big one, isn't it?
Big time.
Because I know a lot of guys, and I bet you know a few men too, that, they're one guy on Tuesday, they're a different guy on Thursday, and then, oh, shit.
Right.
Oop, hey, we can say that. This is BeMen. Oh, crap, right? Friday
Right.
night rolls around, and they don't even look like the same individual you knew Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, and I really think that has to do with your identity. And if you're not completely steadfast in who you are as a person, you will allow all of these different things to dictate who you are and what you are, and especially in the negative side. You will let that tear you apart, and your mental toughness is very weak if you don't know who you are as a person.
There you go, guys. So, we live in the information age and social media. I mean, that's how we're coming to you live this morning. So don't let everyone else dictate to you who you are going to be on the inside. So I have a really important question, and this might go to some soft places because, I'm a guy that thought about being in the military,
Yeah.
and I think I told you this story, right? Like, I thought I was going to go to the Air Force Academy until my dad had about a 5-minute conversation with me,
Yeah.
and it started with getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning. Remember you talked about that?
Yeah.
And I looked at him and was like, what do you mean, like on purpose?
Right.
Like, how many times? He's like, every day, son.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the end of my military career, 90 seconds later.
Yeah.
But I know that wasn't the way for you, right?
Right.
You went in. So, of course, now we speed up to like present day, and I'm a guy with my sons. We've done the thing like go see American Sniper and different things from Hollywood. So can you kind of intertwine military, mental toughness, and let us know if there's any myths out there about that?
Yeah. Well, so first of all, you're halfway there. Right? if you're willing to just shave
guys,
your head,
you
then
thought I
you
wasn't
can probably
mentally
do
tough,
it.
but I'm.
That's right. So you're halfway there. Yeah, so first of all, let me stop here as part of the BeMen Council, and we want to thank all of our military people who are watching right now. Anybody who is in any line of service, policemen, firefighters, EMTs, anybody in that public service entity. And let me tell you right now that we will always stop to say thank you for anybody who is in those type of services. So I can't speak for everybody, but I can say that the military is very good at two things. They're very good at putting you in very stressful situations in the capacity where failure is really not an option. Because of those two things, you have no choice but to sort of develop a little bit of grit. Now, I was never in a situation where my life was in danger, but there are plenty of times and plenty of scenarios and people that I know quite well that have been put in those situations. And so the military, you think, you're normally 18, 19 when you go in. You've never really been away from home for too much.
Pretty young still, right?
Pretty young still. For the most part, most of the guys that I knew, we really didn't have any real hard life scenarios hit us yet. And then they start breaking you down and training you back up to be a mental warrior. Because physically, anybody can really do it. But mentally, you have to be in a place that it no longer is you. It now depends on the person next to you and the person behind you. And if you don't do your job correctly, then their lives are in danger as well. And that takes a lot of mental fortitude to be able to think outside of yourself for the betterment of those people who are around you. So that, I think, is where that correlation comes into play. Now, a big myth with the military is no. Military members are not dumb. We are not just muscle-bound idiots out there with guns running around. I would say that 95% of people who sign up and join the military and do their job are very intelligent people, and they have to be. And you want them to be as well. So if you have this weird negative mental connotation about who military members are, or the police or firemen or something, please stop. They are out there to protect and save and serve, and you want them to be intelligent. You want them to be held to a higher standard than anybody else, because if you're not willing to do that and you're going to let somebody else do it, then you need to celebrate that on a daily basis.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. I think there's a lot to be said for what you just said about the military and what we're trying to create with BeMen. Now, of course, none of us are signing up for a tour of duty, although sometimes it can feel like that, going to work every day, 50 weeks out of 52, but it's a little more mundane. This might be a little softer, so to kind of tie that in, because gentlemen, with BeMen, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to create a safe place. We want to create an environment. Now, we may not break you down as harshly as the military does. We might be a little softer with our approach, but that's exactly what we're doing here. A month ago we were talking about financial freedom. Today we've shifted to mental toughness. And we're in the third series, right, of the 5 pillars of male wellness, because that workshop's coming up the end of June, June 29th. So on the softer side, we talked a little bit about the military, but you got married, right? You've been a married man for 3 years?
Almost 2. It'll be 2.
2. I apologize.
Beginning of June.
All right.
Yep.
Well, this might sound a little bit different, but what do you think? How does mental toughness come into play in a married man's life? Right?
Yeah.
You took your life, you took her life, you blended them together.
Yep. So my wife and I don't want to call it traditional because that word is just odd, but our belief system. The day we got married, she looked at me and said, okay, now you're in charge. You're the leader of this house.
Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you repeat yourself.
Okay.
Gentlemen, did you catch that? Ladies of our community, now ladies out there, if you're watching this and you've never heard of BeMen, you might be thinking, oh God, here we go again, BeMen, He-Man, woman hater, chauvinist. No, we have 600 members in our Facebook community. Gentlemen like us measure about 400, 450 plus, but the other 100 to 150 are ladies. Yes, ladies. So can you repeat that one sentence that she said what to you?
So the day we got married, she looked at me and said, now you're in charge. You are now the leader of our family.
Now, to all the women in America, maybe even abroad, isn't that that's a no-no in the female world, right? That's submissive, now they're getting wimpy. What did you feel about that?
Sure. For those people who think that that is a bad thing, don't understand what it means, in my opinion.
All right.
So I will say that at any given time in life, I lean on my wife twice as much as she leans on me. But there are certain scenarios and certain cases where she has given me the ability to steer our ship in the right direction. Very seldom have we had a scenario take place where I asked her opinion in what she wanted and thought we should do that I went against on the other hand. But at the end of the day, she told me, she said, I'm giving you the ability to bear the burden of the situations and the mistakes and whatever you decide for our family, because I don't want to do that. So it's now your responsibility to lead us down the right path, and whatever decisions you make, I'll support you. I just ask that you ask my opinion about it first. If we come to a head about it, it's on you. And so that put a lot of pressure on me to make sure that I no longer am thinking about just myself. In fact, in the tier of our household, I probably come fourth, and that's after 2 different dogs.
I was like, wait, fourth, I'm in finance, so help me out with the math, man.
So it's my responsibility to make sure that every decision that I make, I have to think about who it's going to affect far before I think about how it affects me. And that really creates a lot of mental toughness and grit when you have to start considering everybody else's feelings and emotions and places in life far before you think about your own.
So it's almost like you got some training for marriage in the military, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
The Band of Brothers,
Right.
you had to think about the guy next to you to
Right.
the left or right.
Right.
Wow, that is awesome.
And real quick, so ladies out there, if you're married and your husband is trying to lead you from a place of submission, you need to have a conversation with him. Gentlemen out there, if you are not leading from a place of serving, you're doing it wrong as well.
I like that. I love that, because now you're really talking about true partnership.
Right.
I remember in my marriage it didn't quite make it because we were constantly battling for alpha. We didn't have that nice agreement that you have where one can lead and one can follow, and then maybe the other leads and you follow.
Right.
That's fantastic. Now, I understand there might be something upcoming in UT's lives.
There
Oh,
is.
I love it. Look at that smile. All right, ladies and gentlemen, live right here. We got a gentleman who's signed up to up the ante. I mean, it wasn't enough that he went to the military with the Band of Brothers and learned how to serve others, and then he got married, right? Till death do us part. No, he's taking the next step, right? Fatherhood is around the corner.
That's right.
I hear. I understand.
Yep, sometime in September. I was told by Danny that we will not be doing a Facebook Live during the birth.
What? Oh, come on.
Look, I didn't know if that was going to be a
what are you
first or
doing
not,
to
but
us,
Danny
man?
said no. And,
Shock and
so did
awe.
my wife.
Okay, yeah. All right,
No.
yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I know Becca very well, his wife. She's a lovely lady, but no, I'm not going to mess with that. So, all right. Yeah, Natsky,
Chris.
Master Natsky, we love, you're next, man. Get ready. We're coming up to you next week, brother. So, what do you think? Do you agree with me? Are you about to up the ante now that fatherhood is around the corner?
Yeah, so it's funny, right before you got here this morning, I was talking to Danny for a minute, and he said, he said, everybody's going to give you advice on how they should do it and whatever, but just remember that you basically are hiring a 24-hour boss for the first while. And so I thought that was kind of funny, and it's going to ring true, I'm sure. But, he also said something to me that is very helpful, I think. He said that you're going to fail every day. You're going to succeed every day. You just kind of have to follow your instincts and do your thing and not worry about the pressures around it. And he had mentioned that there's a lot of parent shaming going on now. That people that either don't have kids or have kids, but they're just, robots, whatever. There's a very high opinion from our culture right now on, how you should be a parent.
Oh,
and
yeah. All
just
the
like how we
shooting
should
us
be
to
a man,
death.
right?
Oh, God,
and
yeah.
so, the advice that he gave me was actually very good this morning about that.
That's nice.
And so that kind of helped me. But, I would say that I am prepared for whatever comes my way because of all of the years of things that I've gone through in life to help me develop that grit and that mental toughness that's required. There are places that people can go if they feel like they just need to grow in that mental toughness as well.
Yeah.
People go to the gym every single day and can be hard as a rock, but the second that life happens, they just melt into mush and they crumble because they mentally can't handle it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's far more important to exercise your mind than it is to exercise your body, and it's very important to exercise your body so you can kind of understand that you probably need to work twice as hard on your mental strength as you do on your physical strength in order to survive this thing of life.
You following that, guys? I mean, this is like a present-day superhero, right? We all talk about wanting to be in the military. He's in the military. We all talk about having a healthy marriage. He's got one, and now he's going to be a father. And he's telling you that the most important muscle lies between your earlobes, that little bit of gray matter. So, yeah, take that to heart. So
let me correct something real quick. I haven't been in the military for almost 12 years.
Oh, hey,
it's been a little while since we were
From
in
what
there,
I
but
understand, though, it all counts, right?
It all counts.
It all counts.
Sure.
So, and we appreciate your service. So why did you want to become a father? That takes a little bit of mental toughness, right? Just to get, I think, prepared that, hey, it's not all going to be about you. I mean, you took one step with military, you took a second step with marriage, but like Danny said, man, whoo, those little bundles of joy, it's all about them.
Yeah. That's a good question. So there's something innately about me that I was hoping that my name could be carried on. I don't know if that's a pride thing
That's
or
kind of an
arrogance
old
thing
school
or something.
We don't
you know,
talk about
just,
that a lot.
We really
anymore,
don't.
Right? Lineage. And
yeah, and it's just sort of a legacy that I was
go.
looking forward to. But really, I think that having a child and being able to create a life is one of the greatest things that humans can do.
That's an honor, isn't it?
It really is. And for those of you who are unable to out there, we mourn with you, we feel with you, and we're here for you in whatever capacity. But for those of us who are, I feel it's a huge blessing to be able to do that. And if I can pass down my knowledge and my help and just help watch somebody grow and help develop somebody that could later on change somebody else's life, then I think that's wonderful.
There you go.
On top of that, my wife said we're going to have a kid. So that's one of those where I decided to follow instead of leading.
She stepped up a little bit on that one, did she?
That's right. Yep.
Well, you know, that's a great point because we talk a lot within the BeMen community about generational modeling, and we take fatherhood very seriously around here because we have a fatherless issue in America. It's kind of it's a term I hate, quite frankly, because it's not true, but there are many, many, many children, like 1 in 3, who are not having the opportunity to have an active, supportive, meaningful relationship with their biological fathers, and that's a travesty. So we want to impact that, and we want to impact that huge. So we're kind of coming to our close, but I thought I'd finish us off with this question. So a man like yourself who's been through all these things, and you're going to go take on more, and I couldn't be happier for you, man. I think you're going to be an awesome father.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, your son or daughter is going to be, that's going to be a good thing for them. So if you could finish us off this morning, what would be a word of encouragement that you might give other men that are a part of our community or maybe learning about our community for the first time about their mental toughness?
So everybody needs to understand that mental toughness is not genetic, which is a good thing, right?
Right.
Because
so we're not either born with it or without
correct.
it? So there's hope for me.
There is hope for
Yes,
everybody out
baby.
there who is just finally deciding in their life that now is the time to change. We were talking last night. I gave a little presentation at our company, and
right.
there was something that stuck out to me. It said, well, don't just wait for that one thing, just find that one moment. And there's always a moment where you can choose to be mentally tough or not. You can choose to collapse, and because it's not genetic, mental toughness is a choice. And it's a muscle that can be grown, it's a muscle that can be shaped, and it's certainly a very powerful one once you get to understand what it's about. And I just want to let everybody know that we are here to help you with that in any way possible. If you want to reach out to Zach or myself or anybody within our BeMen community, we will supply whatever resources you need in order to help develop and move forward in that mental toughness.
Thanks, brother. We appreciate your time this morning. So as we sign off today, I'm just going to remind you all that Saturday, June 29th, will be our workshop, The 5 Pillars of Male Wellness. This one and the other 4 will be meeting from 9 to noon. We'll be at the Solomon Center in Northwest Parker. But stay tuned. Go to bemen.org. Reach out to myself, Zach at bemen.org. We've got plenty of things going on, and we're growing, and we're loving it. So let's all of us remember, be men, be extraordinary.
Thanks, guys.